Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. Hey, ViWoods just did something really cool. They just had a Q&A on Reddit, just open, just let anybody ask any questions that they wanted to ask. And it kind of reveals what the short and long-term roadmap is for ViWoods, including some new devices, some really cool new features, and then some things that they just said are too hard to implement. So we'll get into that. So I've tried to organize the Q&A into kind of categories so it's not just sporadic like it was on the Reddit. It was kind of hard to follow on that as far as, things that interlinked and related to each other. So I tried to make more sense of that. So we'll start off with the software side of things and kind of see what some of the questions were from the users there. So first up was a two-part question from Nice Responsibility 9. Seamless synchronization between the Mini and the AI Paper. As you know, that there is no synchronization between those using the app. The device files do if you use a third-party app, for example, like OneDrive, like I use. It does send your notes and your PDFs to a folder in OneDrive that you designate, and you can go and pick them up with the other device, but there is no synchronization like exists on the Supernote or the Boox platform within ViWoods at this time. So their answer to this was, seamless synchronization across multiple devices is a proposition involving significant engineering effort. Unlike other brands, closed systems or open source systems results in a large amount of data. It says future release of new devices that we'll get into in just a few minutes will only increase the difficulty of implementing this feature. It's looking like if you're looking at getting both or two devices in the ViWoods ecosystem, synchronization is not on the short-term roadmap. Hyperlinks and notes or table of contents, sort of like Supernote platform. These have been put on the agenda and development will begin as soon as possible. Here's one that frustrates me. Question 1, are there plans to unify the filing system so there's one to follow no matter how you connect? At present, it's different for each method of connection, meaning files get very lost. For example, if I have a meeting coming up and I'd like to store all of the types of files in one folder, then open the file would take to the dedicated app section of the AI paper. Their answer was, we have plans, but it's difficult to implement. We're going to hear this a lot in some of these Q&As. The initial system layout was intentionally created as separate sections to distinguish the different functions of each app. So basically, this is, it's going to take a while. They do have plans, but it's going to take a while. Question 2, for business users taking work notes, can you confirm if the data in the notes is secure from AI public modeling? And they say it is secure. There is no essential difference between using AI via a ViWoods device and using it on your own device. ViWoods will not store any data, and we always prioritize user data security and privacy protection. So really interesting there on the filing system. I know it's very frustrating. There's a lot of things about the file system on the ViWoods that are very frustrating, that you can't just have a folder to put all of your notes and your paper and your meetings and your PDFs and EPUBs and those types of things. If you have things that are related to each other, let me put them in a folder together. That's a little frustrating, but it's not going to happen anytime soon, according to this answer. This next question is a good one as well. So will you ever standardize the toolbars across the apps? Papers has it on the left and it can be hidden. Meetings has it at the top and it cannot be hidden. For two practically identical apps, having two completely different bars with different rules hurts my head. I agree with Fidgety Rat on this one. So they answered by saying that regarding paper and meeting, we will be releasing a set of meeting templates in the future for everyone to use within paper. You will not have to force yourself to switch back and forth between paper and meeting just for meeting notes anymore. I think that's great. I don't find value in the meeting app on this thing, and it would be great to just get rid of it on the home screen. And with the new beta, you're able to do that. You're able to customize your home screen. Here's an example of what I'm talking about. So as you know, typically the device is divided into 6 different panels, but you can hold down at the top in the latest beta and you can say, I want to use the 6 panels, I want to use 3 panels, or I want to use 5 panels. I've got mine set up for 5, but I can select the 5 and then I can come in here and say, I don't want daily on here anymore. I want to remove that, and then I want to replace it with, let's just say, meeting, since we're talking about meeting. And then I can confirm that, and then meeting will show up down here. So you can customize your home screen now, whereas you couldn't do that before. So if you don't like meeting, and once they make these changes, you just want to use paper, just get rid of it and put something else there. This next question I may have misunderstood, but it says, can you make it so that one can move files virtually or factually out of sight? This is talking about the Learning app, by the way. I usually only have those files visible on top that I immediately need, and everything else gets sorted away in folders to bookshelves, collections, whatever you want to call it. There doesn't seem to be such an option here. Having 5,000 books or files in there without even basic sorting option make for one big mess. Please correct me if I've overlooked something. They say, thank you for your suggestion. In fact, we are already optimizing the situation you described. The new version of Learning featuring optimized display methods and folder structures will be launched in the next major version update, estimated around November or December. We believe it will meet your expectations, so stay tuned. I may have misunderstood that. So when I go to Learning, which I'm in now, I don't have a whole lot of stuff here, but I can sort it either by title or last modified. And then I can create folders over here to put them in. But what I think they're talking about is maybe in the library. If you have a ton of stuff here, maybe you can just create folders in the library itself. I'm not sure if that's what the question and the answer was on that. Hopefully we'll see in the November or December update. Next up is love your product. Do you have any plans to create a drawing sketching app or optimize an existing app? We're happy to tell you, yes, there is. Please stay tuned. That's good news. Maybe that'll be sort of like the Atelier app in Supernote. Who knows? We'll have to stay tuned and find out. Here's a multi-part question. I'll only look at a couple of these things. The first bullet point up here is desktop and mobile companion apps with basic editing and syncing, either PDF or EPUB using sharing options on a mobile phone. We will begin work on the desktop mobile interconnected app to make operations like file transfer simpler and more convenient after we have perfected the cloud storage, cloud synchronization related functions. So it looks like they are looking at that stuff, but it's going to be a little ways out based on that. Make a web page converter Chrome extension. Google Chrome plugins are not being considered for now. And then add more colors to the pen tools, not only grayscale, for some of them, maybe as an advanced setting. More color pen options will not be added currently, given that our devices are still primarily black and white screens. Colored strokes are only visible when exported and displayed on other devices. And there was a battery optimization question, but they say that that's already been addressed with their current lock screen solution. So we'll move past that one. Here's one that would make a lot of people happy if they implemented it. Do you plan real split screen functionality in the future? I mean, screen split in half that allows to run two different apps. Any app not only built in next to each other. That's the only feature missing for me now. Thank you for a great device. Their answer was, thank you for liking our product. We're very glad you enjoy it. The split screen function is a feature that many users want, but the technical team has indicated that it's too difficult to implement. Therefore, we will not be launching this feature in the short term. Interesting. I'll pull two questions out of this one. Do you have plans to add possibility to configure the buttons only to work with a double tap? And they say, if we implement the change you suggest, it would cause other users who are unaware of the change to be unable to use the device normally, leading them to mistakenly believe the device has an issue. Therefore, we apologize, but we will not consider this change for the time being. We will still recommend that you use the enable-disable button. Also, date format. Please allow these different date formats, date, month, year, and year, month, day. And they say we currently do not support directly setting the date and display format. This function is built into the corresponding language preset. Otherwise, if you select English US, you get that date format. If you select English UK, so on and so forth. I would also ask about the military time thing. I'm surprised nobody asked about that, where it uses a 24-hour time instead of a 12-hour format with AM, PM. And then please add place to events and daily, time, date, and place. Basically, they say since ViWoods devices do not have GPS functionality, this location feature has not been added. We will add a function for manually filling in the location later. Next up is unlimited paper or infinite canvas. Please provide the facility for unlimited paper in the native notebook that will allow us to choose our own folder structure. Unlimited paper, if you are referring to a function similar to a borderless canvas, we are already working on its development. It will be launched in a future system update. Related changes to folder structure optimization are also underway, and we will be adding folder structure settings that better align with user usage logic. So infinite canvas may be coming. That'll be interesting. Boox just recently released infinite scroll, where you can scroll infinitely down and to the right. Maybe this is a, an all directions infinite canvas. We'll have to wait and see for that software release. Here's one that is kind of a bummer, but you really see this across e-ink devices, and it's probably the explanation that they give here probably applies to the other manufacturers as well. But the question was asked, Android 13 upgrade? There likely won't be an upgrade. This is because our system is highly customized based on the existing Android 13 system. So if we were to upgrade to a new version like Android 14 or 15, everything would have to be scrapped and rebuilt from scratch. That's interesting. I guess you'd need a new device release to be able to adjust to that. The last two questions are hardware related and kind of interesting. One of them was, why a ceramic nib stylus? Why did you release that? Will it damage the screen? And they stated that after extensive testing that it does not cause damage to the screen. I think there's been a lot of folks that have had concern about that. I know there's been a lot of discussion on different channels or YouTube channels about that as to, does the ceramic nib over time polish the screen? Or in the case of other YouTubers like Roderick Wortham at Rants About Tech, he's been using a ceramic nib on his Boox Go 10.3 for about a year without any kind of damage or polishing at all. ViWoods says that they've done extensive testing and there is no damage to the screen. So that's a very interesting observation. So if you want to get your Supernote pens and use them on your ViWoods or other devices, or at least the ViWoods devices, maybe you're safe to do so. Caveat, use at your own risk, though. The next thing has to do with new devices that are on the horizon. So let's look at that question. Some very interesting answers here. In this question, they asked, do you get some new infos about the new device? Can we expect a bigger screen or maybe color? Currently disclosable information. The new product will be officially released next month. Hey, that's November because we're recording this and the Q&A was in October. So please stay tuned. There was another question about new devices from Worth Banana 492. Said, are you working on a 13-inch device? Will you consider a color device in the future? And the answer for that was, regarding the latest device scheduled for release next month in November, confirm that, there is currently no further public information available. However, the color device and 13-inch device you mentioned are both within our considerations. Interesting. So speaking of new devices, on Reddit, a user, the Color Splorge, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly or not, found an interesting Amazon listing. As you can see here, it's a device in the shape of either a Palma 2 or maybe a Remarkable Paper Pro Move, not sure. It's called an AI Paper Reader SE08. Does 08 indicate that it's an 8-inch device? Or is that just, coincidental numbering? Don't know what the specifications are on this. It's $649, which kind of puts it into the price range, well, actually above the price range of the Remarkable Paper Pro Move, certainly well above a Palma 2 type device. Don't know if it's cellular, have no idea on the specifications, but it's really intriguing what this device might be, or if this is just an incorrect listing, incorrect pricing, if things about it will change once it's released. Is this the device that's coming out in November? Anyway, so it's very cool of ViWoods to host this kind of a QA on Reddit, for all the world to see. It takes some guts to be able to do that because you never know if you're going to get bashed or if it's going to be a friendly type exchange on there. Really kudos to them for doing that and really revealing a lot of their roadmap and what they're working on, what they're not working on. I know Supernote is famous for that. They've really connected with their community in that way, and I think it behooves ViWoods to do the same thing. And we also kudos for them for taking the path of saying, we're just going to answer the questions directly and bluntly, and if it's something that's not on our roadmap, it's just not on our roadmap. And so, I think that's kind of what they did there. Anyway, I really appreciate you watching the video. If you would like and subscribe to the channel, I would much appreciate that, and I'll see you in the next video.